Hello friends, this is Rodoshi. Today I am going to discuss about disasters in our life. So firstly, what is a disaster? A disaster is a calamitous event that disrupts the functioning of a community or society. Disasters can occur at any time. Some disasters give a warning and others give little or no warning. Once a disaster happens, the time to prepare is gone. Let's know about what type of disaster we might face. We can face disasters, for example, floods, terrorism, robbery, earthquakes, fires, etc. Now we should know how can we cope with disasters. The best way to cope with a disaster is to prepare by having a plan before it strikes. Taking steps to prepare for a disaster can help us to get back to normal faster. If we are unprepared, the devastation and financial loss caused by the disaster can be magnified. We should take precaution for different disasters in different ways. Like for terrorism, we should seek immediate shelter in an enclosed space. Escape or hide by lying down on the floor during a terrorist attack. Switch off the lights and turn off any electric devices that can make noise. When there is an earthquake, put our head down and cover our head and neck with a pillow. If we are in a car, then pull over and stop. Set our parking brake. There are several actions for different pandemic situations. The actions that we are taking for this current pandemic situation due to COVID-19 are washing our hands with soap and water for 20 minutes, hand sanitizing, using facial masks when we need to go outside, maintain social distancing, etc. During a flood, move to safe zones and higher ground. Be updated and alert by listening to TV news. Today, I'm going to provide some information about how to take action for any disasters. To keep food and water storage which can support for at least 3 to 5 days. Make sure to have some cash set aside for emergency situation. Keep the emergency contact number example as emergency friend or family member's contact number, ambulance or healthcare services number, police station, local gas or electricity or water supply department, etc. in a notebook and updating and checking it once or twice in a month. To train up children and other family members if needed to contact with emergency services and how to face emergency situations example as fire, electrified, robbery, gas leakage, earthquakes, severe medical injuries, etc. Everyone should have a card with their name, address, emergency contact numbers, etc. Each member should have an emergency bag that contains food, water, flashlight, rope, radio, etc. Make sure to be ready with some emergency evacuation equipment like a fire extinguisher, parachutes, flashlights, fire alarm, etc. Make up an emergency escape plan with evacuation routes and certain safe place. To keep our first aid kit ready in houses, schools, offices, different workplaces, etc. in an easy accessible place. We must also have proper knowledge about using the first aid kit in emergency situations. We make plans for disasters, but we also need to practice that plan. For example, we can practice fire drills in houses, schools, offices, etc. and using equipment as fire extinguisher, water spraying, helping others, keeping quiet and no panic, how to contact emergency services, etc. so that we can get used to it and can do the same during the real emergency situation. Always be updated by listening to TV news, weather forecast, reading newspapers or articles, getting information from social media, etc., which can help us to face any disaster situation. Think before acting and keep calm and quiet to make decisions. No panic because if you panic, it can create more danger. There are several actions for different pandemic situations. Some organizations raise their hand to face these disasters locally and globally, like ICDDRB, Ministry of Disaster Management and Relief, Disaster Management Directorate, Flood Forecasting and Warning Center, Bangladesh Red Crescent Society, Bangladesh Armed Forces, WHO, UNICEF, International Red Cross, UNDP, etc. We can show our responsibility in this disaster by taking some steps. like increasing people awareness about disaster and updates by using social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Or we can even make websites, making banners, doing rally, etc. Raising fund for relief, aid or donation for the disaster affected people by several projects. Example as arranging concerts, showing drama, performing stage show, arranging free treatment, etc. Informing or arranging for the involvement of the humanitarian organization with the disaster affected people, etc. So, this is our world. We all should think how can we live together happily in this world by coping the effect of these disasters. Thank you. Looking down from up on the moon is a tiny blue marble. Who'd have thought the ground was turned on? Could be so fragile. This is a love song to the earth.